How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out a video suggestion by Linda and John. They wanted me to check out this video and provide my opinion on it. We have Leaving the Tribe, Letting Go of Being American by the channel Large Man Abroad. I've never came across this channel, never watched this video, know nothing about it. The description says, in this video, we discuss letting go of being American. We discuss the tribal relationship people have with national identity in the United States, what it's like to live within the American tribe, the difficulty of breaking free of tribal obligation, and how the idea of tribe in America is often used to manipulate American people to supporting the economically and politically powerful. That's a lot to unpack, guys. There's a lot going on there. So the American tribe. So I don't know. I mean, a tribe is of course like a band of a group, right? Like a group of people, like, so letting go. So maybe Large Man Abroad, the channel name, maybe this guy moved to a different country and he's like, this is how I let go of being American, like my Americanisms and whatnot. So anyways, thanks for watching with me, guys. Links will be in the description section down below. Thanks, Linda and John, for the suggestion. There's links down below if you want to suggest some videos as well. Let's check this out.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Large Man Abroad. Let's have a talk. There's something fundamentally comforting about being part of a tribe. It's been a fixture of our identity since before civilization ever existed, back when we were hunter-gatherers. And because it's something so core to our individual identity, it's something that's very hard to break away from. But I think that we can all agree that at some point, that identity, that affinity for our culture, for our tribe, might be something that we need to break away from. On this channel, we talk about leaving America. On this channel, we talk about moving abroad to find the best life that you can possibly have. And one of the things I see the most that holds us back from actually making that move, if that's something that we want to do, is our connection, our affinity, and our perceived obligation to the culture that we come from. American identity is something that's very core to Americans. More often than not, we are very proud to be an American, whether that's good or bad. And for most people,
it depends on what it is. And I think that the proudness of being an American is fading. You know what I mean? It was stronger when I was younger, for sure, for me. But, there's nothing wrong with being proud of where you're at. You know what I mean? The government isn't the people, of course. I'm proud of... Oh, geez. You probably can't hear that in the microphone, but like there's like a fighter jet or a rocket ship just went, it's still going across the sky. That is loud. Anyways, that distracted me. We're just going to push play. Lost train of thought there. That was loud.
Well, the idea of what it is to be an American is something that's lost, but it's a slogan that we hold to our hearts. We're told that it's something important. We're told that it's something that holds great value. But at the same time, if we really dial down and think about what it is to be part of the American tribe, usually we're going to come back lacking in any kind of response.
Yeah.
Because the fact is, America lost its tribe. It doesn't have one. At some point we might have, but to really question what it means now is to really question our very own identity. And the danger is, when we question our own identity, we risk a kind of deconstruction that can leave us lost. But I think it is important at a time where America is facing such a fundamental shift that we have to ask ourselves, do we want to bear the cultural obligation and responsibility to maintain and carry that culture forward? Or do we decide to turn our back on the tribe, to leave and become something new, to embrace ourselves in other communities? And that's one of the great draws that come with moving abroad, with living abroad. Life can be much more beautiful when you separate yourself from your national identity. You see more value in the smaller aspects of community that you see all over the world. Right. And often they can make you quite sad because you realize that these are things that you've lived your entire life without. It's one of the reasons why when people move abroad, they find themselves to be in a new type of comfort, right?
And the thing is I understand what he's saying. I've never lived abroad. I've never moved abroad, but I've watched a lot of videos, and so I see the differences and everything, and I see like the two different realities that there is for Americans, right? You got the reality that America gives you, right? The bubble, the propaganda, the stuff that you're told and you're force fed basically, America, the land of the free and every other country is shit basically and all that stuff, right? But then outside of that bubble, you have like, the real world, right? And so leaving the bubble of being American and then going to see the real world, even though I haven't been able to do it really. I've been exposed to it through videos, right? I mean, if you've followed my channel for a while, you've clearly seen that by now. So I understand that America isn't what America is according to what they told me it was in my little bubble, right? Um, a lot of people ask me personally, like, when will I move or when will I go? I do want to leave the country, right? I really do. I just there's personal things, My grandmother is very sick. She may not be here much longer. I have a couple daughters with an ex-wife. I don't talk about all my personal stuff on here. It's not what the channel's about, but I get so many people asking questions about it, and it's like I might as well say, I tell people I have personal problems, but they don't know what that is. I have a couple daughters with the ex-wife, and I get visits with them every couple weeks.
Right? It's hard to come back to America. Like I said, it's hard to come back to a place where you're missing so much, especially once you realize that you have been missing it your entire life. And they can be simple things, a focus on family, a focus on tradition, a focus on spirituality, a focus on life itself. Because America fundamentally has turned its back on life. It's turned its back on family. The tribe doesn't exist. The tribe is just a fantasy at this point. In fact, if we really think about it, American nationalism, the idea of American identity, our tribe, is only used to defend our country and our actions when those actions are, for lack of a better word, repugnant to anyone standing on the outside. And
Yeah.
this isn't a statement of hate or condemnation of the people who are from America, the people who live in America, the people who call themselves American. Because like I said, for the vast majority of people who live in America, you really don't know what it's like to be part of a true tribe. You don't know what it's like to be part of an actual community. There may have been a time, and many of my older viewers may understand, that America once had a time where community was valued, where it meant something, where it meant.
I would say that kind of, just a guess, I would say the 50s for sure was the heyday of that, but I'd say maybe up into the 80s, possibly 70s, 80s, and then it started kind of fading out. I don't know for sure.
meant something to your life. It meant something to your family. It's something that held people together. And more than that, it safeguarded community, the people, your country, from abuse and oppression by people who come in with enough resources that they can actually change the way that decisions are being made in the direction that your country wants to go. This is a position that Americans find themselves in now with the rise of oligarchs in America, the rise of the technocracy, the rise of an imperial and vampiric corporate system, and the new aristocracy that really reigns over America today. This is no longer a place of the people for the people. It's a place for business. America isn't a nation. America is a corporation. I don't
Yeah.
think many people would disagree with that.
No, I agree.
America is defined not by the cultural tenets and beliefs that it has, but by the economic decisions and frameworks that it decides to use. To challenge capitalism in America is to challenge America itself, to challenge the economic system and say that it leaves people without, it leaves people suffering, is to be seen as an attack on America itself and on Americans. We defend the systems that do damage to us and do damage to people around the world because it's part of our tribe. And tribalism and tribal allegiance is something that is hardwired into our DNA at this point because it goes back millions of years.
Right.
And it's hard to fight. And even now that I'm someone who's pretty much culturally deprogrammed from being an American, someone who's educated enough to understand what America really is, as many of you are, still.
And and that's part of my journey too. It was not my initial intent to start, you know, de-Americanizing myself essentially. I just started the channel to learn and react to videos, right? But along the way I've learned a lot of how the world really is, and now I have the yearning to de-Americanize myself. side effect of starting my channel, I guess. And you guys are awesome viewers that allow me to be able to do this, which is great.
Still, there are moments where I'm drawn back to that call of homeland, that call of patriotism, and at worst, call to nationalism. Most of us.
But where's he live? Because this looks. Oh no, maybe he's in Britain. I mean, it's hard to tell because the camera might be backwards. But this trash can here, that looks very American. The car behind him looks very American. Those houses look very American with their big ass yards, and maybe he went to Canada. I don't know.
Us have been living lives disconnected from the things that actually make life on this planet worth living. You know, in America, to be a good American is to be a taxpayer. It's to go to work all day, to raise a family, but not actually give them a life worth living, just enough to raise them to get them to participate in the same cycle.
Yeah, this is all the stuff I don't agree with. Yeah. I'm on board with this guy so far.
Slowly draining and killing you. It's a dark business to be an American, and a lot of people on the outside who really dislike Americans don't really realize that most of us are trapped here, trapped in the mentality, the ideology of being an American. Because to really internalize a lot of the slogans, a lot of the propaganda that goes behind the idea of being an American can really fortify your mind from actually seeing what you're missing, seeing what's great out there, seeing the change that you should want in your country and in your community. It makes you, if anything, a pawn in a game controlled by people far above your own station. People who would keep you in your station, as low as that may be, for your entire life and for the lives of your children.
Yeah, they want to knock you down.
We talk about America as a great place of opportunity, and for many people it is a great place of opportunity. If you're coming from a place where you've been economically without, you can come here. You can make money. But to live here and to internalize what it is to be an American is something that a lot of people find a life lacking, a life not worth living as much as the life that they've lived in before. And that's why so many immigrants who come to America, you'll find them on days of celebration from their homeland, flying the flag of their country of origin. And I don't think that this is a wrong thing, but we condemn it in the United States because we say America above all, America first. And this anger and resentment that we have towards the outsider, of course, is a natural response to our tribe, to protecting our tribe. It's understandable, but at the same time, you just want it to be over. You have to get away from it. You have to leave your country where you're from to really understand how toxic it can be. And to leave America.
I just don't really go anywhere. I basically stay at home all the time and like do my own thing. I stay out of public. I don't really go out and do much, which, it's like I live out in the middle of nowhere anyways. I would have to drive for forever to even go to a place that has anything to do. Everything's car centric here.
America behind, to leave your tribal identity behind and open yourself up to what's out there in the rest of the world is a massive blessing and can really change who you are fundamentally and how you treat people, your expectations in life, your expectations from your nation, expectations in your community. These are great things, and it's a great part of personal development that is purposely denied to most Americans. The American system is designed to keep people in a state of ignorance that will keep them in the same race that they always talk about wanting to get out of.
And they want to keep you broke, and they want to keep you sick.
They say it is my duty, it is my responsibility. But what duty or responsibility do you have to an identity, to a culture, to a corporation that never has had your best interest in mind? Who would see you live your entire life grinding away at a job with little to no chance of promotion? Because why would people in power want anyone to challenge them? And this is something we have a hard time facing in America because we say it is the land of opportunity. And we say that you can be whatever you want to be, just dream enough and work hard enough and you'll get there.
But the thing is can't you do that anywhere? I don't understand. I don't see a situation unless maybe North Korea or something, right? But like for the most part, how is there not the same opportunities anywhere else? If somebody wants to open up a bike repair shop and they have the money, can't they just go do that? They rent a building and I just don't understand.
But what you're finding nowadays is that people are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s and coming to the point where they should be able to retire, but that's not going to happen.
They're not able to.
The progression that you have in life here eventually will stagnate. Those promises of constant growth permeate through every aspect of our culture, whether that's about economic growth, personal growth. It all relates to a pursuit for power that is just endemic within our system. But the system isn't designed, the system was purposely constructed to keep normal people in the position where they'll never actually come out of their own socioeconomic level. Right? The era of social climbing is over. Social migration, social transition, it's over. The great transfer of wealth has really solidified certain people, certain families, certain populations, their place in the top strata of society. You may be given the ability to advance at a certain level, but that's always going to be within a margin. Because to break out and move up puts you in a new class where power actually is. And that's not something that you're meant to participate in. You're not supposed to associate with people or actually have any effect on decisions that are being made. And we think that America is a place where everyone's equal. They're not. And to believe that is true naivety. To believe that you can advance endlessly and work your way up to the very top is flawed thinking. People who are allowed to come up, it's usually by design, and agreements are made that they'll never actually challenge the true power that reigns there. You're meant to stay where you're supposed to stay. You're meant to stay as a protector of the tribe. And like I said, our tribe has simply become a warrior class to protect the economic elite in this country. The idea of American identity is long gone. We have to move past it. We have to leave our tribe for ourselves, for our sanity, for our nation.
Yeah, because I don't want to just be over here protecting the elite. That's crazy. Protect myself and my own.
You just have to let it go. Any culture, any country that you're from that is damaging or toxic to you, even if we look at it generally, we go back to old terms. Let's go back to the social contract. Once a nation, once a country, once a sovereign fails to protect you, fails to be a great benefit to society, then it's your duty to no longer serve that. And it doesn't matter if that's a corporate interest. It doesn't matter if it's a nation, if it's a state. It doesn't matter if it's a family or a community. Once this system becomes a net negative to people, it should be thrown away. It should be left to rot because it already is rotting. And I guess that's what it is. I guess at some point we just have to make the decision: do we want the sweet comfort of the tribe that we're used to, even though it's causing harm to us, and we know in the future it's going to harm our families and our children and our grandchildren, to the point where eventually they're going to have to deal with the end state of things as they're in the decline, and that's the collapse? Or do we move away from that? Do we find new people? Do we find new identity? Do we find a new nation? Do we find a new country? Do we find a new tribe, if that's what we're looking for?
Right.
Because I think tribe's very important, but you have to go out and find it. You're not.
The only thing that sucks though is it's like, for a lot of people it's scary. It's like to just pack up and move across, to a different country, and then you do have the family stuff here that you're leaving behind. Of course, there's technology. You can FaceTime, you call people and whatever, but it's still it's just a scary thing. You know what I mean? Because you would just feel all alone, really, in another country, even though you do have that connection through the internet or the phone to talk to your family or whatever. But it's like, it's a big thing. It's a big jump.
Destined to be part of the tribe that you were just born into. Not in today's world. Things are much more complicated than they used to be, and we need to start acting like we're aware of how complicated they are. You own your own life, and you should pursue the happiness and the places that you thrive in. And if your tribe is the place that's holding you back, that's becoming a burden, that's taking everything from you, that's harming your family, harming your neighbors, harming your community, ruining the very idea and concept of your legacy, then it's time for you to go. It's time for you to leave your tribe. Even though that breakup can be very difficult, for many people now, leaving the American tribe is no longer a choice. It's something that we have to do. So this is Large Men Abroad. Thank you for stopping by.
Good deal. Well, he just got a new subscription. I'm gonna subscribe to his channel. So yeah, personal reasons, right? Also, I'm in the middle of buying a house, so maybe 9, 10 years from now, all my personal stuff will be done. I can sell my house, then I can take that money and move to Europe. That's going to be my goal, right? Maybe 10 years from now or something, and it sucks I can't do it now, but it is what it is. In the meantime, I'll just learn and travel virtually. So you guys have a super fun, awesome day. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, bye.